Okay, so far we've added a emote, we've added a custom character which we have not used yet, and now I want to get a little bit spicy. I want to add in a combo system, a fast-paced combo system, and this one's already going to be on Unreal because I imported it in. But this animation doesn't have to be something that's already imported in Unreal. It could be from Maya, it could be from Cascador, it could be just from hand motion animation that you've done yourself. Once it gets into Unreal, you want to follow the same process that we followed earlier. If you look here. If you follow the process of just doing this quick IK rig remodel and doing this IK retargeter, you'll get your animation set up really quickly. Now, what we're going to do now is actually open up the animation, which you saw a little glimpse of it earlier, actually. It is that combo animation that we were looking at. Okay, so my character's flying off the screen. So we have this nice combo animation here that we're setting up. And if we were to follow the same process that we followed earlier, we're just going into the third person blueprint and adding that in with a button press, what's going to happen is that animation is just going to play fully out without any type of delay. It doesn't mean that when you press the button, one part of the animation plays and then it stops. And what we want to replicate is a full combat system where as you press the button, each animation plays. But how do we get there? Well, first, what we need to do is go to the mesh here, and now we are going to change this character mesh to the star player of this video, which is AZ. The reason why we're going to use AZ because this character mesh is pretty decent, it's fairly updated, and it has the style that we're looking for what we're going about to set up. And you can also find AZ on the real marketplace right now. One thing I do want to show you is if we go to the skeletal mesh, we have the skeletal mesh here. One thing we want to do is attach a weapon to the skeletal mesh's hand. The reason why we want to attach a weapon is because we're going to be doing a sword attack, which means something needs to be in the character's hand. We want to put it into the right hand. So on the right hand side here, we're going to go ahead and look for the right hand, which is right down here. We've already connected a component for the weapon. What we would do is we would right click the hand, we would click on add socket, and then when we add socket, we would just rename it whatever we want. Then we would right click the actual socket, and then we can go to add preview asset. We'll type in sword, which I think there's a few here. Once we type in the sword, we'll have the sword set up next to the character. From here, what we would want to do is go ahead and reposition the sword so that it fits into the character's hand. We can do that easy by just changing the values around here. Reposition the sword so that it fits the right way. Turn the camera so that you can see what you're looking at. And then put the sword in the character's hand. Obviously, this is too big, so we can also change the size of the sword to make it more realistic for what this character might be holding. I think this one is good. We can move it back to the character's hand, and now we have this sword in the character's hand. Once we're done here, we can close this out after saving, and then we can go to the actual third person character, and we need to add a static mesh. Once we add a static mesh, we're going to make sure we rename it to weapon, and we're going to attach it to the character mesh. By attaching it to the character mesh, if you look on the right-hand side here, it allows us to select the parent socket, which is that weapon R that we created a second ago in the skeletal mesh. Turn on visibility to show the weapon in the character's hand. And then from here, what we can do is we can change the positioning, we could change the size of the weapon like we were just doing a second ago. We would change this one to 1. Okay, we want to take a look at this sword. Okay, I think that sword is perfect actually for what it is. Now when we go and play it, we see the sword in the character's hand. And as before, we were able to retarget this character just like I showed you in the first video. And even if we do the emote, we have the emote set up with this character too, which is kind of looking like Fortnite right now. Okay, but that's not why we came, right? We didn't come to just put a weapon in the character's hand. We actually came to build a combo system. So how are we going to go about getting that combo system built up? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the blueprint, and we want to take this code here. We want to copy it, and then we want to paste it. The reason why is we're going to recreate a similar code to this just to kind of demo the attack. And in the input section where we added the emote, you want to go back and you want to add a input for the attack. And we set this one to be the left click of the mouse. Now, right now we have it on Silly Dance. So we're going to go in and we're going to find the combo that we're going to be using, which is going to be in the third person folder. We have it right here. We are actually going to create a anim montage for this one. First, what we're going to do actually is copy this. We're going to rename this to combo test. And then we're going to create an anim montage for this one. And then this is going to be the anim montage that we are going to use for this showcase here. Now, when we use it, we're going to notice, as I said earlier, the character is just going to play the whole combo out. And that's not necessarily what we want. We don't want the character to play the whole combo out in this sense, right? If it was an AI, that's a little bit different. We want a spam attack. The combo just plays. You can't block it. In this case, what we want to do is set up a system that works around that. We can also change the speed of this animation to give it more of a cinematic feel. And I think 0.5 might be a little bit too slow, but we will see in a second. Well, I think that works out because there we go. That looks good. Okay, so what we'll do now is start to set up this system here, which is going to be a little bit different than what we actually have showcasing here. The action attack. But what we want to do is set up a branch. And then within the branch, we want to actually get the character's mesh, because the mesh is where the animation is going to be attached to. We're going to get admin instance. And then we're going to get, is the montage playing? Now, right here is going to allow us to say, okay, is there a montage playing or is there a montage not playing? And the reason why that's important is it will let us know at what point the montage is playing at, which we'll call different values in, that will allow us to update and change. So we will go ahead now and add the particular montage in here, which we were using this one for now. We're going to add a not value. Okay, so we have the Boolean inside the branch. We want to cut to next play montage. Now, if you can see the top, we have play admin montage, and the bottom we have play montage. The difference is play montage gives us more flexibility on calling out different actions, from being the speed, from being notifies, which notifies are what we're going to really use to call out where the animation is being played at the moment. But in order to do that, we need to go down to variables and we need to create something called combo counter. And the combo counter will pretty much call out at what point the combo is based on the integer that is set to. Right now, we'll leave the integer set to 0, but we will change that later to make sure that we get the correct value. So we're going to click on set. We're going to set this to 1. I'm going to go to the true force and we're going to plug this in. And then we're going to copy the mesh and make sure the mesh is what's really playing out of the play montage. Okay, we want to make sure that the same combo that we're using is playing in the play montage. Perfect. Okay, we can make this look a little bit nicer now. We know what values go where. Perfect, 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 perfect. Okay, so now we actually need to pull this forward. The knot's gonna go in the branch. And the reason why is, remember, we're using the mesh to pull the admin instance, which is pulling the montage, which is really just checking to see if it's playing or not. And if that condition is true or false, it's going to let us know to either play the montage or count at what index the montage is at, so that we know exactly what's coming next. And we'll get to that in a second within the actual animation. So we want to take the integer again, and now we are calling what it is or what it's not equal to. Oh, no. Actually, we're going to call what the decrement of that actual notify is, because remember, we're going to be like subtracting 1 if it's false, and then if it's subtract 1, it needs to read out at what notify point is actually being played. And this happens almost instant, and you'll understand this more in a second. We're going to read if it's not equal to or less than okay. We're going to do another branch here. This calls out if it's equal to or not equal to or less than 0 or less than whatever part of the notify system that is currently at, it's going to take 1 away. This way, if it stops, it knows to go back 1, or it knows to just reset back to the 0 point. And we can go real complicated here. We can make it start at different points. We can intersect animations in between itself. It's amazing what Unreal can do. Okay, so what we're doing now is calling a montage stop. And sorry, we want to call this from the mesh. The mesh controls the montage, I gotta remember that. So we'll get that particular animation instance that's playing. And then we'll call the stop that montage if it is playing. That works out a little bit better. We can actually blend this if we need to. And this right here comes with testing. So each blend is going to be a little bit different. This blends in and out from the idle stance to the point of the montage that it stops at. Once I'm done building this out, I will explain each of these parts again so that we understand everything. And if it does stop, it's going to call the combo index as last time, which should stop at 0, which means that it's literally just going to go back to the beginning when you start pressing the button again. Now, of course, we can have a do once here so that it only triggers once you press it, but right now I don't think that's necessary. But let's go ahead and explain this really quickly in full now. So basically, when you press the button, the branch is going to check for the true or false. If it's a false, then it's going to always start at the first combo if the combo tag isn't already playing. If it's a true, it's going to count at what play rate the combo is actually playing at, and it's going to pull from that play rate and continue the combo from that point. This only happens after the first press. We don't have anything that says if you stop pressing, which is like release, it resets, which we could. If we release the button, we can technically have it just reset back to 1. It does that automatically, but we can set it to release after whatever hit just hit to keep the combo consecutive from that release point, but we won't go that deep. What we'll do right now is just keep it so that it reads and it goes back to the beginning, which it says here. And if that's true, it's going to blend the admin instance back to the idle, and then it resets it back to the beginning, which is what I just explained. So all the combo counters used for in this instance is to count where the combo's at and just resets it back to the beginning rather than resetting at a certain point. But how does that look for the animation? Because right now, if I go in and I play this, it's still going to do the same thing. So we still got the same instance here. Okay, but that's good though. That means that all of this is still working the way that we need it to work. So what I'm also going to do is open up this combo montage because it's already built. And if you see, I already have some sounds built in, and I also have some notifiers placed in for how I want to really bring this to life. We won't really cover the sounds and notifiers right now. What we'll end up doing is just building up the points we need for the combo to actually work, which is an empty one here. And typically what we want to do is at the base of certain combo points, we want to add a notifier saying this is the end of that combo. So if we go right here, we have a point where the sword is not moving. This is going to be the point at which we call the end of the combo. So we're going to add a notifier here. And what we want to do is just go to montage notify, which just sets up one of the combo index codes that we talked about, speaking about when the combo starts to play at a certain point. Now we want to find where the animation stops again, which is going to be right here. So this is actually a double hit. So we have the first hit, then we have 1, 2, and then we can actually stop right here before the character goes back out again. And then we want to go back, and then we want to add another notify. Another montage notify. Then we have this attack, that attack, and that attack. And part of me wants to say that that combo it's a 5 hit, but I feel like it's a 3 hit. So it's 1, 2, 3, stop. 1, 2, right, because I could stop right here. I could stop right here. And then it's the last one here. And then this is where it ends up. Now we have these 4 points in. We have no sound in, but we have these 4 points saying these are the points of the montage which the combo actually exists. Now we already have the blueprint system set up, but is it going to work? So now we're going to go to the play, and I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to press the button once, and the character stops. I'm going to press it twice, and the character does a 3 hit and transitions back to the idle. I'm going to press it 3 times, and the character presses it 3. But if you notice, the spin out of that isn't clean. We can clean that up by going back to the idle, but this is why I say I think some of the hits are triple hits and some of the hits are double hits. So we go through the whole thing. We have the last one there, and then the character transitions back. Boom, boom, boom. But I feel as if what we want to do is go to the blueprint, and we want to change this blend out and blend in to something a little bit more, right? Let's change it to that. And should I change that montage? This should be changed as well. So, and I did forget to add the montage into the montage stop so that it knows exactly what montage to stop at. That might help with the transition. So let's check again. So we have the 1, we have the 1, we have the 1, 2, we have the 1, 2, 3, and we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. So it's boom, 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 boom. So you gotta have to boom. Okay. And the character automatically stops as the combo's going. And this is what we want to achieve. And just for fun, just to finish this off, if I wanted to, we can actually upgrade this combo set that we're using here to the one that's pre-built already. I actually did this earlier for my game that I was working on, but we can use it here just to get a sense of what it sounds like when we have it ready to play in game. Put this here, and then if I'm playing the actual game, and there we go. We have everything set up with actual sound. I want to try that one more time. I can even add sound to the emote, which I haven't, but we can add a laugh. And there we go, guys. We have successfully added a combo, a custom mesh, a animation from Xmo, some animations that were either pre-built or put into Unreal, and everything is looking good. Thank you guys for watching.